Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar, Automate Your BIM Model Checking Workflow utilizing Verified. So first of all, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Turkyeh. I'm the Customer Success Manager of Verified here at Xinaps. So before we start, there are some housekeeping rules. So you can use this chat section to ask your questions. And at the end, there will be some time for live Q&A session. And of course, the recordings will be emailed to you after the webinar. Let's have like a brief introduction and to have an overview about where are we now in the model coordination and model checking process. After that, we will go a bit technical and we will dive into Verified and see how we can perform an easy and a proper model checking workflow. So for the next generation of model checking tools, nowadays, there are many things that are required to be utilized by the software in the market. So there's a need for advanced rule-based engine, which is Verified complied to. Also, now we're looking for more interoperable solutions through open BIM processes where we can support IFC seamlessly for that. And most importantly, nowadays, we're just bored of some of the desktop applications. That's why Verified, our solution, is a browser-based solution without a need of install any desktop application or software on your local machine. So Verified offers an integrated workflow. And when I say integrated workflow, Verified is seamlessly integrated with different CDEs or common data environments. Now, these CDEs can range from Autodesk, if you're an Autodesk user, BIM360, ACC, which is Autodesk Construction Cloud, to Procore, SharePoint, Dropbox, Trimble Connect, all these major common data environment that exist in the industry, Verified is integrated with. And all of this is in compliance with ISO 19650, because nowadays this requirement is the one that streamlines our information management through BIM software. And not only CDEs, but for issue trackers, Verified is also connected to different issue trackers from BIM Collab, New Forma Connect, or BIM 360 issues. Now, what makes us different than the other ones? So Verified has a unique, some unique features. I'm gonna go real quick on them because I'm gonna show you this in the demo. But the first thing is that you can create your own federated models out of different file formats. So not only Revit or IFC, but you can make a combination of these ones in one federated model. Also, there are like different checks that you can perform on Verified. So not only clash checks, you're not only limited to that, or data checks. You can have both. You can have clash checks, property checks, free space checks, and also check for duplications in your models. Not only that, but now with our new features, you can also check your models against the IDS requirements from Building Smart. So if you're looking for a tool that can automate the whole thing for you and utilize IDS, Verified can be the solution for you. There are different ways to report issues, because when we talk about model coordination and model checking, at some point we will have some issues. So we need to have a streamlined process to report these ones. And we can do that by either exporting them into CSV file or Excel files. And nowadays we're using BCF file, the BIM collaboration format files, which is quite like easy to use. What you can do is that on Verified, you can create an issue and then export the BCF, and then you go back to your authoring tool and then fix the issue from there. Also, we have a data viewer. The data viewer is a feature that creates customizable data sets and multi-level grouping. And one of the use cases in this case can be the COBie spreadsheets. And so now Verified is in the early stages of supporting COBie sheets, and it's still evolving. Currently, Verified supports the early designed worksheets, including the facility worksheets, type worksheets, all of these ones. And most importantly, all of this is happening in the browser where you can navigate through your files in 3D and also in 2D. Now, the advantages for using Verified, you can have a single sign-on feature where you can log in using your Microsoft account. As I told you, you could create different federated models on the same platform. We support different file formats, so not only Revit or IFC, but also DWG files, BCF files. We support these ones. And as long as you have full access to your project on the CDE, you can also have the same access on Verified, because we are having some kind of a live synchronization between the two solutions. And when I say the two solutions, I mean Verified and the common data environment. And throughout all this process, there's no desktop application required at all. So we're operating fully in the browser, and you can use different browsers to run Verified, from Google Chrome to Firefox to other ones as well. So Verified is totally in the browser. Okay, so that was it. So first we go to app.verified.com. You can see this is the login screen of Verified. And when I mentioned earlier the single sign-on feature, if you click on login with, you can log in with your existing Autodesk account or your Microsoft. For this demo, I'm gonna just choose my demo account. I've prepared a couple of files that we can navigate through and we can do model checking on them. Okay, so this is the interface of Verified. As I told you, now we're requiring also like collaborative environments. That's why Verified allows you to have your team members on the same environment. And after that, you can start assign them to different projects, and of course with specific access roles. And this is all in line with the 19650 requirements, because as you can see from here, I'm a company admin. However, if I have different project members, I would like to add them to and assign them to other projects, I need to limit their access till some point. So on the left, you can see the workflow that we follow for the model coordination process. So we divided this process into 4 main stages. The first one is organize, where you can navigate through your files and navigate through your models. And you can establish the connection to the CDE, of course, in this stage. So if you're having your files on BIM 360, you can collect them from there and then import them to Verified. Then you can classify the elements. So after you retrieve your models, you start navigating through them into the 3D viewer and the data viewer. Then you can start actually classifying them according to their properties, according to specific attributes that you'd like to see. And after you classify them, you move into the third stage, which is validate, using the different rule checks that we have on Verified, which could be a clash check, a free space check, property check, a duplicate check. So it depends. And at the end, we have the fourth stage, which is report, in a way that you can create your issues. You can make a screenshot for the issue that you're having. Let's say there is a clash, you make a screenshot for that. You give some details on this issue. For instance, the people who you would like to assign this issue to, a due date, and then you can export it to BCF file, or you can just integrate it or report it to other issue trackers as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to projects from here. You can see the list of projects that I have. These are different example projects from different common data environments. So you can see from here, I'm having a project from SharePoint, another one from Dropbox, BIM 360, Procore, Trimble Connect, ACC. And if you would like to see the list of integrations that Verified offers, you can click on Add Project From, and you can see the list from here. Now, in some cases, if you would like to add the project, let's say from Autodesk, you just click over here, and then you choose your account that is linked to your Autodesk account, and then you can access your BIM 360 projects from here or ACC. And you can see them over here. So you just click on them, add project, and then you will see them in your project hub. Now for this demo, I'm just gonna go to my BIM 360 account and choose one of the projects over here. So when I told you that you can assign team members to different projects, this is the interface that I meant. So you can add project people over here from, of course, from the bigger umbrella, which is the company people. And you can give them like specific access rules and all of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on models, and you can see now we are in this stage, and the 3D viewer has opened at the same time. What I'm going to do, I'm going to load some IFC files. This webinar is going to be more interoperable, so I'm going to have some IFC files. We're going to support OpenBIM over here. So yes, so you can see here the project hub, or let's say the environment for BIM 360. If you add different files or modify the files on BIM 360, all what you have to do is just refresh, and you will always get the latest updates on Verified. Now, in some cases, for instance, let's say the MEP team has produced a newer version of the file on BIM 360. Verified can still access that. So as you can see, we're always syncing the latest version. However, you can always keep the previous versions in your backlog as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close this one. I'm going to keep the model set builder. And then we can start the model checking process. So what I can do is that over here, I can perform some basic navigation processes. So if I click on one element, I can just choose to clash it real quick, which will show me like the possible clashes for this element. However, if you're looking for a more detailed solution, then you have to use the clash detection rule that we have in the validate stage, which I'm going to show you in a bit. So you clash it like this. We can always reset the view. If you would like to see your files in 2D, just click on the 2D floor plan and then choose one of the floors. And there you go. You have it. In some cases, you might have grid lines. However, this project doesn't, I didn't export with the IFC files some grid lines. But if you're working with Revit files and you would like to see, to have like a better understanding of the locations for the element, then I recommend you opening the grid lines. Okay, so let's reset the view. Other tools can be the spaces. So if you click on spaces over here, it will show you all the spaces that you have in the model. Of course, you can still access properties for them. So if you click on one element over here and then go to properties, it will show you all the attributes for this specific space. Okay, let's see one of the walls over here. You can see that the entries are now different. And since we're using IFC files, then it makes sense to have the IFC entity and the IFC GUID as well as part of my parameters over here. What I wanted to mention is that, so similar to the 3D viewer, we have another tool, which is the data viewer. If you click on it, then you will see all the non-graphical information for your model. So if you just navigate through them, you can see this is an IFC data view. So it retrieves all the IFC entities and the IFC GUIDs as well, the name for the element, the model name that this element came from, and the level for it. Now what you can do is that you can customize this one. So if you click on edit, and let's say I would like to add, I'm not sure, volume. I don't think that all the elements have the volume property, but I will just add it for the sake of the webinar. And you can see over here, we have some entries. Now what you can do is that you can group elements. So I can tell Verified that, okay, please group all the IFC entities together. And there you go. So if you would like to see the IFC slabs, let's say, there's a 90 slab, the slabs over here. So I just click on them, then I can isolate them so I can see them properly in the 3D viewer. Of course, I can give them colors. Yeah, I can hide them. And you can also export them. So if you go to export from here, you can export them into comma separated value and Excel. And this is one way to report things from Verified. I will show you the other ones in a bit. Now, if you remember in the presentation, I told you that Verified supports the early design worksheets from Covey. So using the data viewer, as you can see, I can customize this table. And when I say table, Covey sheets are also tables. If you just look at it from, like you look on the overall spreadsheet of Covey, it's just tables. So this is what we can do over here on Verified. We can collect. So you can see there are some Covey parameters. I'll have to click on another element over here. Perhaps just type Covey. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Yes, okay. So for some elements, because Kobe is not for all the elements, you can see it's limited for some ones, some of the elements. So you can see over here. Now what we can do is that we can ask Verify to retrieve all this information and populate them in a table. So if I go to my data views, and then I would like to see, let's say, the components, and I'll just run this data view. And Verified will retrieve all the attributes. You can see the columns over here. Now, if you want to see some results, of course, because this is Kobe, not all the columns will be filled in, but the most important ones, the name, created by, created on, type name, it's all automated using Verified. So without just doing the whole thing manually, adding it over and over again, I can just run this data view. It could be components, facilities, floor, or spaces. And we still have, of course, the types and all the other ones. But the ones that are limited for early design stages, what you can do is that if you hover over here, you can see Kobe.created by. So these are all the Kobe attributes. What you can do is that you can export it into CSV and Excel. So this is for the data view. It was just a quick overview. What I'm gonna go to filters from here and show you how we can classify these elements. So let's say I would like to see the IFC beams because we're working with IFC files. And you just run this one and you will see the results over here in the 3D viewer and the data viewer. But the reason that the data viewer is empty is that because I use the Kobe. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna run the IFC default data view, which will retrieve all the elements. Okay, we're just gonna refresh. Okay, and there you go. You have all the IFC. Yeah, we need to run it one more time just to have the colors as well. Yes, you can see over here we have only the IFC beams. Of course, if you would like to go back, like these views can be saved, so you don't have to run it over and over again. So if you just reset the view, click on home, or what you can do is that reapply results, and there you go. There's no processing time for it. Because as I told you, we're running completely in the browser. I'm using here Google Chrome. You can see it. So I'm not depending on my laptop or my PC. I'm not depending on my graphics card. And I can load up to 6 GB of files. And this is what makes the whole model checking process quite simple on Verified. And let's say efficient, because I'm saving a lot of time. I'm saving a lot of effort, actually, by just avoid the waiting times that we can have. Okay, now also to save the time, what we can do is that we can share these filters. So we can share it with other projects as well from my project hub. So you just choose one and then click on apply, and then you will see it. Sorry, and also to carry out a proper model checking process. So instead of just creating these filters, so if you go to edit, you can see that we've already created this one by using some kind of a statement. However, what we can do is that we can add filters for classification codes from Verified's library. So I'm using IFC federated model. So if I go to the IFC entities, you can see that we've already prepared the domain entities, element entities, and the extension ones as well in our Verified's library. So if you just click on the drop down, you can see that we've already prepared some of these, not some of these, actually all the IFC entities filters that you can use for your models. And then you can just click on add, and then you will see them over here as these ones, as you can see. So the IFC condition, electrical, flow storage device type. So depending on the IFC that you're using. Okay, so this is for filters. Let me just close the data view, close the filters, and go to the next part. So after I classified my elements and I created my filters, what I can do is that I can actually validate the elements. And I can validate them in different checks. Now, I'm not going to go through every single check we have. However, I'm just going to focus on the free space check. This is a very good one, especially for MEP, engineers, because at some point, for instance, for the mechanical equipment, for the firefighting equipment, according to the standards, you will need to have some space next to them, above them, underneath them. Verifi3D can actually create the space without modifying the original files. So for instance, if I run this one, the free space check, this is a free space rule that checks the door swing. So we're checking over here if the door can open properly or not. And as I told you, this is not only for doors, it can be used for mechanical equipment, electrical equipment, any other element that you have in the model. So if I just zoom in a bit, or actually let's just navigate from the data viewer. So you can see that we have 2 failed results according to the free space check. So if I just double click on any of them, you can see that this is one. If I double click on the second one, it will show you this one as well. Now, if you would like to see the structure, how did we structure this check? Quite easy, straightforward. In the beginning, I just targeted the doors, as you can see, and I can make a combination of elements. And then I disallowed some of the elements. So over here, I've created a new filter, which indicates the pipes. This is like a pretty much straightforward one. I've created a filter for pipes. And then you can specify the dimensions for this box over here. And in some cases, you can make some exceptions, of course, to just neglect some of the results. And this can be in the required section over here. Now, this is for the free space check. Of course, you can always export the results into a CSV file or Excel files. But still, we're saving the method to export these issues. I'm saving it till the end. So this is the free space check. We also have, we have the classic clash check. If I just run it real quick, walls against MEP elements. And then I just reset the camera settings. Yes. So you can see these are actually not all the walls. This is the interior walls. And it was specified in the test. But you can see the results over here. Now, because we don't have openings for the walls, you can see that there are a lot of clashes. But what you can do is that you can group these clashes together. For instance, this wall over here contains like 1, 2. Is there a third one? I think, yeah, only 2 clashes. But in some cases, this wall over here, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are multiple clashes. So what you can do is to avoid duplications, and also when you export it, to make it easy and simple for the people who are going to work on these issues, you can group them all together. So if I drag and drop the GUID for these walls, you can see that everything is grouped all together. For instance, for this wall, now some walls contain only 1 clash. That's totally fine. But if you check this wall over here, there are 4 different clashes over here. And if I just click on them, and then I would like to isolate them, you can see over here. Of course, you can view this issue in 2D and all of that, and then you can export it. So yeah, there are different things that you can do with this issue. I'm just going to reset the view, click on home, and then close this one. And one of the other checks is the property check. So here we're going to check if the slabs have the load-bearing property, if the load-bearing property exists on the slabs or not. So I'm just going to run it. And you can see, I'm just going to remove the grouping from here. Yes. So you can see that we have some failed ones. So I can group them all together and see that, okay, so 84 elements or 84 slab actually failed this test and does not contain the IFC, not the IFC, the load-bearing property. So if I click on this red one, on this red element, or let's say the green one, and then you go to properties, then I just click and type load-bearing, you can see it is there. However, when I click on any of the red ones, it's not there. And this is something that we can actually report to the team. So what you can do is that, of course, you can isolate it. This is one way to do it. So you have all the slabs that don't have the load-bearing property. And, you know, the use cases are countless over here. You can use it for uniclass codes, for uniformat. You can actually check the Kobe parameters over here. This is something that you can do. So there are different use cases for this check. Okay, now I would like to have the door swing test because I like the shape of this clash. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna double click on this one. Okay. And then we would like to report it. So if you remember, I told you there are different ways to report issues. What you can do is that you can export in CSV, you can export in Excel, and the third one is that you can create an issue and export it into BCF file, or you can just sync it to one of the issue trackers that we connected to. So if you click on report over here, you can see that a new interface will appear on the right. So I can click on add a new issue. And then over here, I will just type free space issue. And then I will make a couple of screenshots. And then I can assign it to someone. However, this is manual. If you're integrated with an issue tracker, of course, and I'm going to show you the issue trackers that we're connected to in a bit, you will have the entries from that issue tracker. So you don't have to just type it manually. As I told you, Verified is a collaborative environment and it saves a lot of time in terms of manual work. So we just type test over here and then click on save. And as you can see, there is a small button over here that downloads the file in BCF format, the BIM collaboration format file, which is quite handy, especially if you're working with the native files, with the authoring tool on the side, and you would like to import this BCF there, and then you can fix it. So if you click here, you can download it from here, or you can just click on the issue one more time. Now you can see that there is a list of issues over here, and this is exclusive to Verified. So here I did not sync it with any other tool. However, if I click on change provider, I can select either BIM Collab, New Pharma Connect, and BIM 360 issues to sync these issues to. And as I told you, it's real-time sync. So if you go to my BIM 360 account and then you create an issue over here, you can see it over there. The same thing for BIM Collab and New Pharma Connect. So that was it. Just real quick, these rules can be shared, of course. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, but you can share these rules with other projects. So you don't have to worry about creating this clash check or the clash matrix over and over again. You can just create your own clash matrix one time, that's it. And then you can just share it with other projects. And you can share it by either just share it from here regularly, or what you can do is that by clicking on the three dots, you can export it into JSON file, and then you can just go to other project and import it over there. Yes. So yeah, as I told you, we're integrated with most of the CDs, which makes the whole model checking process easy. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in this session, and we hope that we can see you in other sessions as well. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.